everyone, my name is Amber, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a casual sit down video while I'm drinking my morning coffee while the puppy is sleeping. I wanted to react to the Goodreads Choice Awards because if you have been around my channel for a while, you will know that I like to keep on top of new releases. I like to know what's going on in the community and I like to know what people are buzzing about. So it just made sense that I would partake in reacting to the Goodreads Choice Awards. I do already know that there is a new category this year. They've also removed like 2 or 3 categories, I think, which I'm not keen on, but I am glad that they decided to do this new category. In terms of my own predictions, I haven't done a predictions video because I rarely do. Don't know how many new releases I've actually read this year, but off the top of my head I think I'm expecting Amina to be in fantasy. Kerri Maniscalco has a new book which will probably be in fantasy or maybe the new category. I've also got a ton of literary fiction on my shelf, but I don't think off the top of my head I can't remember any that would be that popular. Alice Feeney has a new book, that one will probably show up. Holly Jackson, 5 Survive, I think that came out at the beginning of this year, so I'm expecting that to be in the thriller category or the YA fiction category. Yeah, it must be in that one. So yeah, I haven't really thought about any of my predictions, but I wanted to do this video anyway, so I'm just going to load up the screen and then get cracking. Okay, so my screen recorder is having some sort of issue. I don't know what's wrong with it, but I've reduced the quality a little bit. I haven't tested it though, so hopefully you can see. If not, we're going to switch to my tablet if this all fails. But here is the page for the award. I'm just going to go through starting with fiction. I think it's quite funny here that you can see that Chain of Thorns is apparently a nominee on my shelf, but I've shelved it as nope, meaning I will never read it. I've got way more on my shelves, but I don't mark everything as to read on Goodreads anymore. So anyway, what else do we need to know? This opening round lasts, it would have been what, 2 weeks when it was first announced, so let's go with fiction first. Yeah, it's already failed, so 1 second, we will switch to my tablet. Okay, so fiction. I don't really read many fiction books anymore, but I do like to collect them because I have a lot that I do actually want to try reading. I never get to them. So we have Hello Beautiful, which I've not heard of. The Collected Regrets of Clover, not heard of that one either. 5 Star Weekend I have heard of, and I've heard of this author before, but I've not read anything by them. The Celebrants I have heard of, and I've put this in one of my new releases videos, I think. This author wrote The Guncle, so I might want to read that one at some point. We also have Birnam Wood. Let's see what else is there. Yellowface, of course, that one's definitely going to win. I can't see it not winning. Marmee, The Connellys of County Down I've heard of, and I actually really do want to read. Pineapple Street, don't know what that's about, but I have heard of it. Family Meal, Big Swiss. That's been a big one. I can't remember who read it. I think it was Books and Lala, and so I've seen it around on quite a few channels similar to hers that read like literary fiction. The Wishing Game I've seen around a lot. Alice Hoffman has a new book out which I didn't know. Shark Cup I do actually really want to read. I sent this one to my friend because her brother is a marine biologist and we keep joking with him about all sorts of marine life, and so she's obsessed and therefore I am also obsessed with anything like this. There's also Whaleful, if you've heard of that one. I keep trying to get her to read all of these. So yeah, not many that I recognise on this fiction round, and I've read none of them. So on to historical fiction. The Covenant of Water, I really want to read that one really quite badly. It sounds very good. This one is like a generational historical fiction book. I think it spans from like 1900 all the way up to almost the 80s, I think. And I love generational stories. I think they're fantastic and very gripping. Banyan Moon, not heard of that one, but I'm going to mark it as to read because it sounds good. Looking for Jane I've not heard of. Lady Tan's Circle of Women I've not heard of. The Secret Book of Flora Leah. What's this one about? English countryside during World War II. Okay, I don't really read World War II fiction. It's not something that I'm massively interested in. I think I burnt out when I was in school, so I'm probably not going to read that one. Let's see, what else do we have? Isabel Allende has a new book out, The Wind Knows My Name. Not read anything by her, but I do own Violetta, I think. I think that's the only one. But yeah, otherwise, oh, Wayward I have heard of but haven't read, and River Sing Me Home I have read and I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed it, it was good. It's basically set in the Caribbean. The main character is enslaved. It comes about at a time where Britain makes slavery illegal, and this completely throws the slave owners off because obviously they've made owning people their entire way of life and it's how they make their money. And so the people who own the plantations and who have enslaved people, they try and find a way around it and they employ people instead. So this main character is an enslaved woman and she escapes one day because she doesn't see it getting any better, and she sort of travels around the Caribbean trying to find some of her children. It was a very enjoyable story, but it kind of sort of dragged a little bit and I didn't really feel all that connected to the main character, even though she was going through a lot of emotional stuff. So yeah, I'd recommend it. But yeah, other than that, I've not read any of them and I've heard of barely any. So let's move on to mystery thriller. Let's see. Lisa Jordan, none of this is true. I haven't read that one yet, but I really want to. S.A. Cosby has a new book, All the Sinners Bleed. I haven't read that one. Vera Wong is on here. This is by the author of Dial A for Aunties, so I'm not surprised that this is on here. Haven't read it though. Rachel Hawkins' new thriller book is on here, The Villa. I haven't read that one, but it's on my shelf. Happiness Falls by Angie Kim. I am dying to read this one. I absolutely loved her first book, Miracle Creek, although I wouldn't really say that was a mystery. That was more of a suspense literary fiction sort of thing. I imagine this one's about the same, and I really want to read Happiness Falls, but I've pre-ordered the paperback book for some reason, because Miracle Creek is hardback, so maybe I will change my mind and read this one in hardback. All the Dangerous Things I've read and really enjoyed. That's the second book by Stacey Willingham, and she's got a new one coming out in early 2023. This one came out I think in like February or January, and it's basically about a mother whose toddler is taken while she and her husband are asleep. A year later, we're following the mother as she's trying to find out what happened to her son still, how she's dealing with her relationship with her husband. I did enjoy this one. I gave it 4 stars. There's also What Lies in the Woods by Kate Alice Marshall, which I think I gave 5 stars. I really like Kate Alice Marshall's work, and this is her adult thriller debut. She's got a new one coming out early next year as well. I think I might vote for that one actually. What else do we have here? We've got Alice Feeney, like I said, Riley Sager. I forgot he had released another book. I don't read his stuff because I didn't like the first, I think, 3 books that I read from him. Richard Osman. Wasn't a fan of the first Thursday Murder Club book, so I won't bother reading that one. I really want to read Bright Young Women, possibly as an audiobook. It sounds quite good. So it's, from what I can tell, a fiction book inspired by a real life sorority which was targeted by a serial killer. So I think part of this timeline at least is based or set in the 70s, I think. You can tell that I haven't had a whole coffee yet. We also have I Have Some Questions For You, which I haven't read but is on my shelf. So if I was going to read a bunch of Goodreads nominees, it would probably be mystery thriller, because I can fly through them, but I can't decide if I want to. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to do a reading vlog trying to read as many of these as I can, and I'll try my best. I'm really bad at reading vlogs. Okay, on to romance. I've probably not read any of these. Let's see. Okay, I've read The 7 Year Slip and I really enjoyed that one. I gave it 4 stars. That one made me cry on the plane to Corfu. Love Theoretically I also enjoyed, so I've read 2. I have heard of most of these though, because I am keeping up with romance more this year somehow. I've heard of Wildfire. I haven't read the first book though. That's the companion book to Icebreaker. This one is set in a summer camp. Happy Place by Emily Henry I'm not interested in because I didn't really like Book Club. Was that her first one? Whatever her first one was, first romance book. Final Offer, that's the 3rd book in the Dreamland Billionaires series. I think I haven't read the first one yet. The Right Move is another sequel. Christina Lauren, I don't know which one is going to win. Probably Rebecca Yarros, because everyone's obsessed at the moment. Abby Jimenez's Yours Truly is on here. I do want to read another romance book by her. This is the sequel to Part of Your World. So yeah, probably Rebecca Yarros will win this one, or if not, it'll be Ali Hazelwood. Okay, on to Romantasy. Let's see what this has in store. I've probably not read any apart from Fourth Wing. So this is a brand new genre for this year. I'm really glad they've done this, because I wouldn't want Fourth Wing to completely clear the floor of the fantasy category, and I'm fairly sure Amina is going to be in the fantasy category, so I didn't want that Amina to lose against Fourth Wing. Okay, so yeah, we've got Fourth Wing here obviously, which is 100% going to win. We've also got Assistant to the Villain. This is by the same publisher, I believe. I own this one but I haven't read it yet. I didn't know it was Romantasy actually, but it makes sense that it's the same imprint. They typically do this same genres, don't they? What else have we got? The Jasad Air, which I thought was just a fantasy. I didn't realise this was going to be classed as romantasy. I've got that on my shelf. The Hanging City is one that I've been looking forward to reading. There's the new Kerry Maniscalco. I didn't realise that was romantasy. I thought that would be in the fantasy category. There's 3 Jennifer L. Armentrout's. Bloody hell. I don't know which one is which. So there's A Fire in the Flesh, which I assume is Flesh and Fire. And then there's Ruin and Wrath, which it says is the first book in a new series, and A Soul of Ash and Blood, which I assume is Blood and Ash. She really needs to wrap these series up, bloody hell. Fox Club King I've also heard of, and The Hurricane Wars I really want to read. So a lot of these covers really look the same. I really struggle to tell them apart. They also all use the same font, which I'm not a fan of. Fourth Wing is easily going to win this one. I do wonder how Zodiac Academy will do. So this is the 8th book, I think, in the Zodiac Academy series, and it's not going to win, but it does have a very loyal fan base for some reason. So it might do quite well. Otherwise, I think, I don't know what's going to come second here. Probably a Jennifer Armentrout, whichever one's the most popular, or the Foxglove King, I imagine. Interesting. Okay, on to fantasy. Hopefully I've read some of these. Okay, we have The Adventures of Amina El Sarafi. I'm going to vote for that one, of course. We've also got a Cassandra Clare in there. I keep forgetting she released an adult book this year. I don't think anyone's really reading it. A Day of Fallen Night, Fragile Threads of Power, Tress of the Emerald Sea. 3 Greek mythology retellings in one go. We've got Atalanta, Stoneblind, and Clytemnestra. Not read any of them. I'm not going to read the Jennifer Saint one because I didn't like her first book, but I am interested in Stoneblind and Clytemnestra. Bookshops and Bone Dust, obviously. Actually, we've got Salman Rushdie in there, Victory City. Not heard of that one, but I know that this author has had a year, so I can see this one doing quite well because of that. Not that it's, you know, not a good book, I actually wouldn't know, but he's been in the news quite a bit because of what happened to him earlier on this year or late last year, whenever it was. I think this is a fantasy book set in India with a bit of like historical fiction in there as well. I'm really interested in reading The Unmaking of June Farrow. That one sounds very good. Not heard of Venko. The Will of the Many. That one does sound quite good. Mark Lawrence's book is there. Hellbent is there. So I don't know what's going to win this one. Probably Hellbent, I imagine, by Leigh Bardugo. I would normally say that V. Schwab would win because she's very popular, but this is the first book in a spin-off, and I don't think many people are reading it. It looks like, yeah, it's only got like 7,000, 8,000 ratings. So I bet Hellbent wins this one, but it should be Amina Al-Sarafi because it's the best. Okay, on to science fiction. I probably haven't read any of these because I keep buying science fiction, but I never read them. Okay, what have we got? We have In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune. I thought that one would be fantasy, actually. That's interesting. Lightbringer by Pierce Brown. The Marriage Act by John Mars. His books seem to be more thriller than sci-fi, but they always get categorized as sci-fi because they've got sci-fi elements. Ascension, which I haven't read, but I am interested in. I think I've got that on NetGalley. Deep Sky, which I'm dying to read. Children of Memory, which is the third book in the Children of Time trilogy, the final book. I doubt that one will win because final books of the trilogy rarely do. The new murder book, which just came out actually, The Ferryman by Justin Cronin. He's a very popular author, but I don't know if he would win against some of the others here. Chain Gang All Stars, I'm very interested in reading that. Seen that around everywhere and I've added it to my wish list. I haven't heard of some of these though. I haven't heard of Land of Milk and Honey, and I haven't heard of I Keep My Exoskeletons to Myself, and Lecky's got a book there. Bridge, that one sounds quite good. I've got that one from NetGalley as well. Some Desperate Glory, I'm currently reading that one and I hope it makes it through. It's very good so far. I'm only 50 pages in, but I'm enjoying it. It's basically about, it's set in the future where humans are fighting to survive because planet Earth has been destroyed. The humans who are still alive, or some of them, are trying to avenge it. And then there's The Light Pirate, which the first line says Florida is slipping away. So I think this is like cli-fi, which I am definitely interested in reading, so I'm going to add that. Maybe I could read some of these. I don't know. I'm getting really carried away now, considering I'm going back to work next week. So I don't have as much time as I would like. Okay, on to horror. Oh, I didn't say which one would win. I honestly don't know. Probably Lightbringer, actually. I think it will be the Pierce Brown book. All the others just don't seem as popular. Okay, then on to horror. I don't really read much horror, to be honest, so I'm not expecting to know many of these here. Although I have read How to Sell a Haunted House, so go me. Let's see. We have Lone Women, Vampires Del Norte. I do own. Sisters of the Lost Nation, I'm dying to read. That one sounds so good. So this is about a Native American girl who is looking for people who are disappearing from her tribe, and I think, well, obviously it's a horror book, so there's going to be horror elements in there. The September House, I'm interested in reading. Our Share of Night, I'm interested in reading. Don't want to read Stephen King. A House with Good Bones by T. Kingfisher is a gothic horror, which sounds very interesting. The Reformatory, which sounds really good. I saw that one on Books and Marla's channel as well. So yeah, quite a few interesting sounding ones here, and I've only read one of them. I don't know which one is likely to win. Probably Stephen King. Possibly Grady Hendrix, actually. His books do tend to get a lot of buzz. Okay, let's move on to YA, fantasy and sci-fi. These covers all look the same as well. That's really annoying. Okay, so we have Delicious Monsters, which I do really want to read, but I haven't read yet. Powerless, which I've got from NetGalley. Studying Drowning, which I didn't realise was YA, so that's interesting. Got Foxglove, which I've read and I did enjoy. Not as much as the first book, but it was good. I don't think that one will win because it doesn't have many ratings. And then we've got like the big hitters like Stephanie Garber, Holly Black, Chloe Gong and Tara Maffey. So one of those will win. I don't know which one, but they're all very popular. We've also got Divine, actually no, Divine Rivals is on here. I reckon that'll win. I haven't read it yet, but I am going to read it in time for the sequel because I need to recap it for Recaptains. I think this one will win, actually. Divine Rivals is a good shout. Cassandra Clare's on there again, the sequel to House of Salt and Sorrow, which no one was expecting. So yeah, quite a few sequels on here this year. Okay, and then moving on to YA fiction. Oh, there's 5 Survive, like I said. Cool. Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute. I've read that one and gave it 3 stars. I don't really like Talia Hibbett's writing. Ali Hazelwood, I think this one's just come out. Rain, Warrior Girl Unearthed. Suddenly a Murder. That one was shit. Honestly, it was so bad. Brothers Hawthorne, which is very popular. Together We Rot, which I am really wanting to read. One of Us is Back, which is the final book in the One of Us is Lying trilogy. 9 Liars, another like sequel heavy category, I think. I'm not sure what is likely to win here. Possibly 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. It looks like that's got the most ratings and it came out earlier this year, so people have had more time to read it, so Yeah, I'm gonna say Holly Jackson for that one. Okay, debut novel. I love this category. I love supporting debut authors. There's a lot of crossover here actually from other categories, which I suppose is good. Which ones are not in the other ones? There's Did You Hear About Kitty Carr, which is a multi-generational saga. Okay, adding that to my to-read list. In Memoriam, Adelaide, One Summer in Savannah, The Bandit Queens. I really want to read that one actually. That was nominated for, I think, the Women's Prize, and I was supposed to read it but I didn't get around to it. The September House, but is that a different cover to before? Yeah, otherwise these are all crossovers, I think. Yeah, Wayward might win this one. That's a really popular book at the moment, isn't it? Unless there's like a historical fiction that I don't really know about. Okay, non-fiction. I probably won't know many here either. Let's see. I don't know. We've got Eve, which is 200 million years of the human body. Female body, okay. The Art Thief, which has a bat on the cover. Butts. A backstory. I enjoy that. That's good. Trail of the Lost. This is on my wish list. This is about a bunch of missing hikers from the Pacific Crest Trail. Oh, and Cobalt Red. So this is about what's happening in Congo at the moment. So that one might win. Not many people have read it, but it might win because it's topical. The internet is finally catching on to what's happening. So yeah, I've not read any of these, but some of them do sound very interesting. Memoir and autobiography. Britney Spears? Yeah, Britney Spears is on here. She's definitely gonna win. Page Boy might also do quite well, but I reckon people won't vote for it because Elliot Page is trans. People are awful like that. And then we've also got Spare by Prince Harry. I don't think that will win because people read it, but people don't like him. This wasn't a great book. To be fair, I haven't read the Britney Spears one, but she is like beloved in, well, all across the world, I think. Whereas Prince Harry, people don't really know him everywhere, or at least don't care about him. Whereas I think people have been rooting for Britney Spears for quite a while now. So I reckon she'll win, or her book will win this category. Don't hear that sound interesting. I don't know who some of these people are. Minka Kelly, I don't know why she's bothered to release a book. Pamela Anderson has released one that's interesting. Jill Duggar, okay, so that one's controversial. I imagine she spills a lot of tea about the Duggar family. Maybe I want to read that one, that might be quite interesting. Oh, and then Paris Hilton, but I don't think Paris Hilton is going to beat Britney Spears. I'm going to guess Britney Spears for this one. History and biography. Is this the last category? No, there's humour after this, which I've definitely not read anything from. The Six, I'm really interested in reading that one. So this one is about America's first female astronauts. The Wager as well, I really want to read that one. So this is a non-fiction book, obviously, about a shipwreck, survival, mutiny, all of that good stuff. And apparently it reads like a fiction sort of thrillery sort of read. And it's also by the author of The Lost City of Zed and Killers of the Flower Moon, which obviously with the film coming out or already out, it's very popular at the moment. So I think this one has a good chance of winning. I've not really heard of many of the others. There's one about the KKK here. There's one about the horror of the Salem witch trials. So some of these do sound really interesting. I'd love to read some of these, but there's no way I'd be able to fit them in before the winners are announced. So I'm not going to commit to that. And then finally we have humour, which I think is a pointless category. I think if any of them were going to be removed, it should have been this one. The only one I've heard of here, I think, is Sure I'll Join Your Cult. I just don't care about any of the other ones. Oh, I have heard of Strong Female Character, I think. Yeah, that's my reaction to the Goodreads Choice Awards. Most of these books obviously I have heard of at least, which is good. It means that I am keeping track of new releases and what's going on. Obviously I haven't read many of them because I have a book buying problem and I don't really read many new releases. I should probably try to be better. So yeah, I think I will try to read some of these before the winners are announced, maybe from the mystery thriller category, because that's going to be the easiest one for me to get through. I might try a couple of the fiction ones as well, just so that I've got something to nominate or vote for, because otherwise I've not read any of them. I'm really pleased that they've added the romantasy category actually, because like I said, otherwise it would wipe the floor of the fantasy category, Fourth Wing that is, and I don't really like having Rebecca Yarros and Jennifer Armentrout up against like actual epic fantasy works. It just doesn't make sense to me. So romantasy is a really good new category to have. I'm just annoyed that they've removed a few others. So I think off the top of my head they've gotten rid of graphic novels, children's books and poetry. I think I don't really care about poetry, but I know a lot of people do. I think it's a shame about the other two categories. So there was no need to remove them, I don't think. Maybe not many people voted in them, to be fair, and that's why they've removed them. I might go back and look at previous years and see if they just weren't very popular. So yeah, that's my reaction to the Goodreads Choice Awards. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if you'd like me to focus on one of these genres or a few of these books, and let me know if you want to know my thoughts, I suppose. I'm gonna try and wake up a bit now because I am still not feeling very awake. I will speak to you all in the next video.